Hey, look, it worked again. It never
All
ceases to
right.
amaze me that we make these things work. Hey, it's Slurp Toast, a podcast, episode 55. 5. How about that?
Wow. How did we pull that off?
I don't know. It's amazing. Um, it was a wonder we ever got to this one. We've had a couple of false starts. You were sick, right? You
Yep.
had
I
COVID.
had COVID.
Was it again or first time? I forgot.
No, that's the second time.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Mhm.
So, oh, I know why the other thing wasn't working. So how was that the second time?
Actually, it was not that bad. It was very, very mild, very yeah, very mild. I mean, it was like I don't think that we would have tested me if Babe didn't have like some sort of a dance competition that we had to make sure she stayed healthy for.
Was that local or was that elsewhere?
No, it was local.
Okay, did she do well?
They did well. But it was
Cool.
just one of those things that it had that not tested, I would have probably gone to work and, you know
Nation zero or
what's that? Yeah.
745, whatever the number they're up to now is.
Yes, exactly.
And then we had the ice apocalypse last week, which was no fun. We were going to record last week, and then it was like 20 degrees in my garage, and power was sketchy. So I didn't want to start something and have it drop off in the middle. Uh, we have 9 live oak trees in our backyard and one in our front yard, and they all got
Mhm.
iced up and iced up
Oh,
and
nice.
iced up. And by the third day, the weight was too much for those 30 trees to take, and there were branches popping off. It wasn't just our house; it was all up and down the street. I mean, it sounded like I took the dog out front one morning. It sounded like gunfire. I actually watched a branch break off my neighbor's tree across the street, and it sounded it sounded like small arms fire when it popped. It's
Yeah, those are no fun.
Yeah, so then I spent all day Saturday cleaning up the debris. Uh, Me and my chainsaw, my little electric chainsaw that everybody makes fun of in my family, but me and the chainsaw got the job done right up to the last branch. And that son of a
That,
bitch got me.
oh yeah, I've been there.
I was on the top of I had the extension ladder out to get the last couple, and I had it. It was so high up. I was like laying on the extension ladder, chainsawing with one hand and holding on for dear life with the other one. and, and what I didn't realize was that last branch, when it had broken, it had pinned itself against another branch.
Oh,
And
so
when
when
I
you
cut
freed it, it
through it,
spun hmm
whap, right into this eye. There's this nice little Nike swoosh line out. Thankfully, I had on my sunglasses, and they took the brunt of it. But yeah, and I didn't fall off the ladder, and I didn't chainsaw my hand off. Many things could have gone wrong right there, but none of them did. So,
yeah, I was gonna say a couple of years ago is chain. We used to have like a farm light over our garage, you know, or out of the
mhm.
garage over the driveway, and the wind had caught it and actually twisted it. So I went up there to twist it and put it back into place, and it was about, I don't know, 2 degrees or so. And I came down. I had
There's
the
your
drill
first
in one
mistake, by
hand.
the way.
So I came down with the drill in one hand, and I misjudged the last step and went over backwards. And I'm in a winter coat, and I know I'm going to land in snow. So I've done this before, and I got myself ready. I was ready to take the bump, right? Yeah, I lay out
Right.
like this,
Spread
and
it
I
out.
kind of look back to see where I'm going to hit, and I'm looking right into the tire well of my car. So I bounce off the
Oh
side of the
no.
car with my face. So I'm like, fall, bam. So now I'm laying in the driveway.
Oh man.
I still have the drill in my hand. I have not dropped the drill. And I'm looking over, and there's this big, it's a plastic panel. So there's a big face print dent in the panel. And I lay it up there and I kind of reach up and I punch it from the inside of the tire well. And it pops back out. And I'm like, good. And then I relax and that other drops. I am still holding the drill. So I just lay that hand across my chest. And now I'm laying there in the driveway, waiting for the concussion to roll in and lying there thinking, it's really not so bad down here. I'm out of the wind. It feels kind of warm. I think I'll just kind of lay here for a while. And then you're like,
Oh yeah.
oh, wait, that's hypothermia. So
It's probably not how I want to go out. Yeah,
it's
I'm
like,
standing on that ladder. And that, yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
no. Yeah, I get it. You're standing on the ladder. It's like, wing, got it. Uh oh.
it wasn't even like I didn't even have time to process it. It like I cut through it, and it was like a trebuchet. It was phew.
Right in the
Um,
kisser.
right, and I mean I've bruised the orbital bone. I know I did because it hurts up here. I got this going on down here. And I'm pretty sure the expletives I shouted are kind of like in a Christmas Story, hanging over the Texas Hill Country, because I was at the top of the ladder, so they went right out into the atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
My closest one to yours is when that very first house we bought in Houston. I changed out light sockets and plugs. And one night I was changing out a light fixture. I'm working in my head, changing out a light fixture in this one room. And Laura was somewhere in the other part of the house. Maybe she was studying for school. I don't remember. She was not where I was. And I was working, dumbass me, I was working on the step stool. And that thing wobbled out from under me.
Ooh.
And I started belly flopping. And I looked down and I was holding the screwdriver like here. And I went, oh shit. I had just enough time to go, huh! And so I did the full belly flop onto the floor from like 4 feet up. I just laid there for a while trying to breathe.
A little final destination moment.
But I didn't impale myself on the screwdriver, so that's the happy ending to that story. It was close. It was real close.
Well, before I got used to the stairs coming down into the basement, again, we've got a big landing. And it's just an optical illusion. It blends right in with that top step. And man, I came, step, no step. Oh shit. I'm about to go face first into the wall. Well, here a minute. You can see. Okay. You see that picture?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm coming down here. I come, boom. I'm about to crash right into there. And I have the wherewithal to plant my foot and push off to the side.
Wow.
Which means I came off of these and crashed into there. So
we have
I'm
issues
lying
with gravity.
Here. Yeah. So I'm laying here at the base of my stairs. Just kind of like, you okay? Yeah.
Ask me in 5 minutes. We'll see.
Well,
We have the same problem.
You've got that adrenaline from the fall, and part of you is like going, man, I was a fucking acrobat the way I just changed direction midair, man, and threw myself that way.
That's
and it's like
NBA pivot.
I don't think I can lift my arm.
That's not right.
It's not supposed to hurt like that.
Yeah, we have the same problem at the bottom of the stairs in this house. The last two steps they're not covered. They're just wood, and they tend to blend in with the wood at the bottom of the floor. And if I'm doing something or carrying something, I have missed that last step more than once. And the problem is, if I miss it, the stagger step is into the china cabinet, which is parallel to the stairs. I'm like, I can just my neck or get my neck broken if I break all the china. So I don't know which way is better.
Oh yeah, that's okay. A couple of years, it's going to happen, and the gymnastic part will just be replaced with. That's how I broke my hip.
That's why I live in the basement now.
That's right. No more stairs for me.
You
Nothing
got a
but
nice long wall for the
ranch
chairlift
on
I see behind
yeah,
you.
ranch on slab. Yeah.
Eh. So is it a straight?
5,000.
This does this
I have a
does the
10,000
stair
square foot
go
hood
straight up?
on one level. What? Yeah.
Does it go? Does that stairway go straight up all the way to the door?
Yes.
Okay, so you got a perfect spot for a chairlift. You're set.
Oh, yeah. Except that
You can
wall
still get
isn't
down.
very sturdy.
Well, it's a basement wall and it's not sturdy. Wait, what?
Oh, that's the mechanical room back there.
Oh, okay.
That's the underlit engine room where we keep all the secret stuff.
Oh, I won't ask what's there on the air. Talking about that later.
Slurp toast after dark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo! Um, so at the end of episode 54, as an aside, you said since
Yeah,
next episode is 55, we should do something Sammy Hagar related.
that's
Um,
right.
and
So
you
I
know me,
spent
I
the
took
last.
that a step. Go ahead.
As I say, so I spent the last couple of days listening to the Billy Joel channel on Sirius XM in honor of Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I want to start. We're gonna do kind of a music theme show. We did your 12 days of Liam. This week we're gonna do kind
Huh?
of a music theme show. I've got a couple of surprises. I gave you some thought questions, which I don't normally do, and we're just gonna see how this goes. I don't know how this is gonna go. What we're gonna start with is the Sammy Hagar portion of this show. It's the Van Halen story. Do you remember our Van Halen story?
No.
I have visual aids to help you. Watch this. Watch what's about to happen here. If I get to work right. Hold on. Come on. I preloaded this. It better work.
The Van. Wow.
Watch this.
It's
Boom. So I had a little free time today, and that's always a dangerous thing. I figured out how to give us a little side action there. So
okay.
anyway, so what happens if I do this? Hold on.
Oh,
Oh,
excuse
then we're
me.
down there. I don't like that. All right. So the Van Halen story is this. And I always see if I can do this right here. Um, boom. Uh, Back in
Oh.
1985, Dave,
Hmm.
David Lee Roth, riding high on the success of his EP "Crazy from the Heat," announced that he was leaving Van Halen. Um, this
Okay.
is the same summer you and I were chasing girls softball teams all over South Louisiana and beyond.
Ah, yes, yes,
And
yes, yes, yes.
so the morning, whatever morning it was, my sister left a note that said David Lee Roth left Van Halen because she had to be at the ball field early. Well, you and I were going out to the field and we were talking about it and we were sitting by the fence. I remember very vividly because this is a funny story. So we started talking about people we thought would be good replacements for David Lee
Okay.
Roth in
Hmm.
Van Halen. Okay. Now, the next slide is not necessarily related to us, but the story goes that Eddie Van Halen's first choice to replace David Lee Roth was Patti Smythe from Scandal. I can't imagine how that was ever going to work in the testosterone laden
Yeah, yeah, that's
world of
not
Van
gonna.
Halen. That was never going to work. But apparently they were friends, and he actually, the stories I've read, he actually offered her the job, and she turned it down for those very reasons. She knew better.
This is never gonna
Better than
work.
Eddie.
Uh-huh.
That's never gonna happen. I've seen the dudes that come to your concerts. I don't want to shag any of them. But you and I sat by the fence as we watched these girls play softball, and we came up with three choices we thought would be great to replace David Lee Roth in Van Halen in the summer of night. Now, the important part of this is you have to remember this was the summer of 1985, so some of these choices did not age well, but this is where we were. So, choice number one we came up with was Morris
Morris
Day
Day in the time.
because Morris was the Peacock front man, like David Lee Roth, and he was used to working with a moody guitar genius, in Prince. So we thought maybe
Mhm.
Morris might work. In retrospect, it's not really a great choice, but yeah. That was
But
our first choice.
it could have worked actually. Lose the suit, go shirtless, either do a Hendrix thing or, a Kravitz thing and tease that out. You can pull it off.
Oh, I think it could have worked. I mean, I think I would love to hear Morris Day singing "Ice Cream Man" for some reason. I just I don't know.
Yeah.
All my flavors are guaranteed to satisfy.
Okay.
So yeah, that was choice number one we came up with. Um, it could have worked. I mean, I think you're right. If he had like leaned more into sort of the Hendrix
Funk.
Kravitz, yeah, Bootsy Collinsy thing, maybe that would have worked. He didn't have to play guitar. Michael Anthony could have held the mirror up. It would have worked.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not as bad a choice in retrospect as I was thinking it was. Hold
I mean,
on.
because there you are looking at him in one of those double-breasted, super padded things. You basically just strip that guy down to his waist, and like I said,
I'm
take whatever straightener product is out and just go the full monster Q-tip fro. I think he could have pulled it off. It actually would have been an interesting look.
It would have been. I mean, surely Prince could have hooked him up with a clothier to get him some leather pants. I mean, that's really all it would have
Spandex,
taken.
yeah, just some spandex. Yeah,
Actually,
I'm going to stand by that choice.
I think that's not a bad choice. Now that we talked it through, which was what I was hoping we would do. That still doesn't hurt my feelings with that one at all. So choice number two is a little more out there, but let's see. And we thought Ted
The
Nugent might
Nuge.
be the
Uh huh.
Nuge. He had the same sort of jungle stud, wild man energy that Dave brought to the thing, and he would have added a second guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And this was before he went full Fox News. So
I would say that would have lasted 1.5 albums.
I think that might be generous.
I think that they would. Well, you're right. They probably would have gotten about halfway through OU812 and been looking for another guy.
Well, that and the fact that Ted likes to press the flesh, so he could have given the boys a run for their money on who was pounding the most backstage. So,
Eat what he kills, so to speak. Yeah.
so yeah, Ted. The other thing I thought when I was putting this together was it would have worked for Ted more than Van Halen because in 1985, Ted was in transition. Ted was between, Cat Scratch Fever Ted and Fox
And damn
News Ted.
Yankees.
Yeah, well, damn Yankees. Yeah, there's that. He did do the super group thing later. That's true. Good point.
Mhm.
But he was kind of because I think I had
But
the album that he put out around that time, and it wasn't especially good.
no, and I think damn Yankees just neutered him. I mean, I may take you higher. Yeah, it's just no.
I think he realized what it was going to take for him to a top 40 hit and was no longer interested in it pretty much at all.
No, yeah, because I got to hang with Tommy Shaw and
Jack Blades.
is that who it was?
Yeah, the guy from Night Ranger, Jack Blades.
Oh my God, Sister Christian. Not doing a Sister Christian cover.
Don't care. I'm the
He-
Nuge, man.
Yeah, I think he basically draws an arrow across the G string and just bing.
All right. So our third choice was Prescient.
Uh-huh.
Come
So
on.
third choice was
Sammy Hagar.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy was coming off of VOA.
Mhm.
So he was kind of at the height of his solo career at that particular moment in time.
Well, and he had the growl kind of a thing, and
Yeah.
he had the growl and the high pitched scream.
Yeah. And he could bounce around.
Mhm.
He wasn't going to be doing karate, but he could bounce around with the best of them. And again, he brought a second guitar to the band if you needed it or wanted it.
Which I think actually, I think it helped because, I do like OU812, Sucker in a Blue Suit, and some of the other ones. Finish What You Started kind of added a bluesy sort of a weird
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was him or just Eddie going through hey, I found some new records. I'd like to riff on this.
Well, I mean, the was it Finish What You Started, man? He's playing like a 12-string Rickenbacker on that thing with a country twang on it. It's like, what is that? I really like OU812 as well. That's one of my favorite Van Halen records. It's solid start to finish.
Yes.
Sometime last year, I listened to the whole catalog front to back.
Oh
Well,
my.
it was an undertaking.
That's a 12
Um,
days of Liam feat.
well, the thing was, I mean, in the let's finish the slideshow and then we'll move on.
We
So
have another
yeah,
choice?
we
Oh
were
no.
right. We were
Yeah.
right. So in 1986, they appeared on the cover of Rolling Stone with their new lead
When Peter
singer,
Frampton joined the band.
and I want that was the
Wow,
other thing.
wow,
Look
wow.
at
Wow,
some
wow, wow, wow.
um Jay Leno, Letterman's favorite comic. That didn't age well.
No, not at all.
Peter Frampton, a comeback saga, dead or alive. Well, and
Alive.
then the always popular and insightful PJ O'Rourke on what's really wrong with Europe.
It's
So
amazing to me that he wrote for Lampoon.
it's amazing to me that he wrote for Rolling Stone.
Well, he kind of, yeah. Well, I think, God, that Will Forte movie that was sort of like on the founders of
Yeah,
National Lampoon, and you kind of, when he mentioned PJ O'Rourke was there, and you're like, oh, that's right, he was. Oh, yeah. Before he too took the hard turn.
yeah,
I always like the people who like her, like, as you get older, you get more conservative. And I'm like, no, that's only true is if you care about preserving, if you fail to recognize that our time is finite, right?
right.
And and why are we fighting for everything nostalgic? Why are we fighting for the past when they're
So we're
just going to
talking
wait
about a
us out?
1985 Van Halen story from our past. But go ahead.
Well, but see, here's the deal. Well, yeah, but you know what? Here, okay, I'll give you that one.
Sorry, go ahead. You were making a
No,
really
no,
good
no,
point. And I was being a
no.
wise
But
ass. I'm
the
sorry.
point, no, yeah, the point is that we they're just going to wait us out. And I watch all these guys backslapping and high five, thinking, "Hey, we shoved the gays back in the closet," and it's like they're just going to wait. You're going to die before them, and then they'll be fine.
Yep.
And
It's
likewise,
cyclical.
it is cyclical, and so I made peace with the fact that it's like, it really isn't worth fighting for some of this stuff because it's just a matter of time before it's all gone. So just let them do it now.
Sorry, let
But
me
then
touch
again,
the.
we're the latchkey generation, and we've never really applied ourselves that much to anything.
It's true. That's true. I spent more time on that
I love.
slideshow than I have some of my educational endeavors. Um, Connor walked in while I was making the slideshow. He was like, wow, it's like when I was in kindergarten learning how to use, or third grade learning how to use PowerPoint. I'm like, shut up. I've used PowerPoint. It's been a while. Why didn't you ever
Uh-huh.
use PowerPoint? Oh, no, it's in grad school, wise ass. It's been a while. So I'm using Google Slides. I'm learning something on the fly here.
There you go. There you go.
So anyway, it turned out
But yeah,
pretty
so
well.
that gets off. So when I watch some of these people become more conservative, you're just kind of like, it's not that like you haven't lived; it's just that you've not given up.
Yeah. I mean, I've struggled with that same point of view. I'm like, it has not happened in my life.
Why I look around me and I'm thinking, no, the kids are right. This is wrong.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's pretty. Some of this stuff is pretty straight line. It's not
yeah.
hard to get to where, and some of it's just none of my goddamn business, and it never has been, and it never will be, and I'm
No,
okay
no.
with that.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah. We God, we walked in. I walked into a conversation. So our front receptionist is Hispanic. There's two women who help clean the building, and
Mhm.
one of them is Hispanic, and she doesn't speak very good English, and so I've always talked to her kind of in a mix of pidgin Spanish and pidgin English, and we've gotten along fine. And then the other one who cleans the building is a black woman, and so I walk in, and the black woman has just told the two Hispanics that, "What do you mean they're different kinds? I thought you were all Mexicans."
Wow, wow, that's a moment.
I'm like, "What?" And so they go, Steve, you speak Spanish. You know we're all different. I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, what do you think Guatemala is? I'm like, Mexico. She goes, no, no, no. She's, where's Honduras? Mexico. And then she goes, what about Venezuela? I'm like, Mexico South. And so, so the conversation devolved into I was agreeing that everybody who spoke Spanish was Mexican some way, that it just was the prevailing thing. I didn't care. And she goes, well, what about Puerto Ricans? I was like, oh, they're Americans. So
Territorially speaking.
so Rosa, one of the cleaning women, she was basically making the point that see, all the Mexicans are the same, all in all the Texans and the Arizonans.
All of us who are squatting in Azatlan.
Yes. So that, like I said,
That actually might be the episode title.
but it was the funniest thing. And then one of them goes, well, what's the difference between Chinese and Japanese? Are they different?
I think it has to do with the cleanliness of your knees, doesn't it?
I don't know. But I was sitting there listening. I go, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And I'm like, no, they're different. And I swear to God, if you call a Chinese person Japanese, oh, they're gonna let you know.
Oh yeah. In
yeah.
no uncertain terms.
Korean, I'm not Korean. You know Korean. It's like, because I was arguing that the Filipinos were also Mexican because of the Spanish-American War.
Okay. History knowledge can be a dangerous thing.
Yes. What about Cubans? No, they're their own thing.
They're the David S. Pumpkins of Mexicans.
And at the point where I decided to walk out was when they were talking about census questions. I was like, yeah, you know how you take a census and it'll say like, what are you? And it says, the first one is always white. And I went, yes, we win again. And I walked out.
You're going to have to do better than that to get us out of the top bubble box.
Oh my God, yes. I just remember at some point I just went, see, todos los mismo. All the same. Todos el mismo.
Nice. That's too funny. How'd that go over? Did they get that you were playing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was yes. I think what I was basically saying that Venezuela and Colombia were South Mexico.
Oh yeah. Well,
And
Texas
Peru and Argentina.
Texas is North Mexico. I mean, come on.
And Argentina and Peru were South Mexico.
True South. South side.
Mexico del Sur.
Nice. There you go. Oh, that's too funny.
Oh my God, it was. And then after they all leave, one of them, we did talk about like accents and like she goes because she asked me, she goes, do you know where one of the other cleaning people was from? And she goes, do you think he's Mexican? I go, no, I know he's from somewhere else. And they're like, why? I go, because his Spanish sounds a little different.
He's Laotian.
Yeah, well, that was one of them. She goes, they think I look Chinese. And I'm looking at her, I go, I see it, yeah.
Not much Mayan
From El
in you,
Salvador. You know what?
Not much Mayan in you, honey.
Well, and that actually became because we did talk about could you tell somebody apart? Could you tell by looking at somebody was Mexican? And you're like, I don't think I can tell somebody's Mexican was more indigenous in their makeup than say Spanish.
See, I used to work with the crew. We had a couple of Mexicans. We had a Salvadoran. And he got mad one time when I first started. And I called him. I said something about him being from Mexico. He got irate. Never made that mistake again. There's, Costa Rica, which is, wet Mexico.
Yeah. Mexico de agua.
See. Oh, that's too funny. All right. I want to tell you a funny story. So I found out why the boys crapped out on us at Comic Con.
Okay.
So
Gummies.
that first night when they were out trying to scam drinks,
Uh-huh.
they found a dispensary and bought some edibles that were way more
Okay.
potent than they thought they were going to be. So they were just stoned out of their minds when we went to Comic Con.
Okay then.
Connor told Laura and I that over dinner one night, and she looked at me and I'm like, how was I supposed to anticipate that? She's like, really? I'm like, I told them to get drinks, not drugs.
My man, can I get a gin and tonic? My man, can I get an ID?
Well, bless. I mean, God bless them. They tried 6 or 7 places, so I mean, but they found a dispensary, and they wanted. And in Connor's words, they wanted to have the true California experience. So that's that story.
Well, if that were the case, they would have woke up naked on the beach. Oh, what
Are
I
in a
get here?
tent in front of the library. So was Jack high when he committed the hate crime?
With
I
the
don't
hate
remember.
crime? I don't know. Yeah.
Check on that. Time that out. All right. I want to hear about your altered states.
I tell you what, though, the only time I did an edible at the Comic Con the year before,
Okay.
and nobody told me to pace, and I was like, well, how much do I take? They're like, just take this. I like take half the cookie. They're like, okay. I go, is that too much? Well, yes, I found out it was.
Okay. Well, see, I'm missing out. I'm the only one of us who hasn't like imbibed the California experience.
Then that's where I was sitting at Fun Days and had all these like time skips. Uh, you know, this red. Does everybody know am I? Does everybody know am I? I mean, I was drinking too. I had like one of those yard margaritas.
Oh,
Oh my God, so much beer. And then that thing. And then I'm sitting there in loud noises and pulsating sounds and, you know, wondering, how did I get here? How did I get here? Did I leave
this
the
is not my
table?
beautiful house.
It's just not my beautiful car. It was unpleasant to say
Well,
the
now I
least.
have a goal for Comic Con this year.
Yeah, that was a different experience. Okay, so the total relaxation,
Please tell
the
me.
the
So,
altered
yeah,
states. It ends.
give it a little preface, give it a little context.
Okay, so the preface and the context is that Kristen bought me float therapy sessions
Nice.
to help relax, and what it is for an hour you lie in a tub full of Epsom salt and you completely float.
It's like super saturated water, right? So it
Super
just
saturated water, so you float, and there's music that plays, and then it stops, and then you're just kind of in this darkened pod that looks like the Mork from Mork eggshell, and you just lay there, and you know it takes a little while to get used to because you float, you sit in the tub, and then your legs immediately go shooting out from under you
mm-hmm.
because they're buoyant, and you're trying to like close the lid, you can't get leverage, and you do finally get it, then the music, and you lie there, and your legs are floating and you don't feel them after a while, and then you're sitting there, and you've because you don't trust that your head's going to float, you've got like a pillow, or your neck and your shoulders are all bunched up to keep your head out of the water. And so what was happening to me was that I would get to this state of like total relaxation. I'd be like going, thinking the ninjas, and then the ninjas turned into zombies, and then the zombies turned into giant spiders, and then part of my brain goes, "You're gonna drown," and it's like you're like pulled up. And then
See,
you're like, what the fuck? And
as a
then you
former
light it.
waterbed user, I thought you'd be okay with this sensation.
Well, it's like your head. It doesn't dip below because like your the top of your face sticks out. But yeah, every time I get like totally relaxed and I could feel my arms drift away and I could feel my necks relax, that I would basically just kind of drift off into these strange little dream eddies, And it'd be just like, as I was telling, it's like you're just laying there and it's calm and there's no noise. And you're listening to like the pumps in the other rooms, and you're hearing the people walk around upstairs, and you're just kind of in that sort of moment of like total relax. You're just like, I'm gonna drown. You bolt upright in the tank.
It's like, better than I'm gonna go eat a goat, I think.
But yeah,
any like reversion to your primal self or any of that?
no, and I was hoping for it.
Well, you got to take that special mix of hallucinogens before you get in.
Peyote and a little microdosing,
Yeah.
Because I will say, you have that thought as you're just sort of, and like I'm laying in there, and like I'll wiggle my fingers to like paddle the boat, sort of a thing.
Sure.
So you kind of like do this, and then you kind of slowly drift into the side of the tank. So then you just wiggle one finger to kind of eddy around, and then you wiggle this hand to eddy the other way, and you just kind of you kind of do your toes, and you sort of just kind of bounce around the tank for a while, and then your brain screams you're going to drown, and you wake back up.
Okay. Well, I've always been curious about that. Now you've got me even more curious to try.
But I will say that afterwards, I was feeling really, really good. Because Kristen's like, "Do you do it naked? Are you bathing suit?" They're like, "No." They say go in there totally nude, and it's Epsom salt, so it like doesn't dry off. So when you're laying there, you're just like kind of like, oh, my penis is cold. So you splash some water on it, and you kind of touch down there, and it's all slimy, and you're like, what? Did I jizz? No. What the hell? And then you just kind of like, oh no, it's all
makes me a little bit ill.
Yeah. Well, you've had like the ultrasound stuff.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like you're kind of covered in that stuff. Like it's all kind of not wet but not dry, and it's all sluicy, and
it's that primordial ooze, man.
it's like, yeah, you feel a little oozy. And then they have a couple floats, and I wondered about that for a moment and thought, whoa, that would be,
No.
oh my God. Okay, it might be cool to like float with your partner, but what if you get aroused and then, no. It's solo action.
Would you still float if someone was astride you?
No, I don't think you would. I mean, what would it'd be sex without leverage. How did that work? It'd just be, I think, just mashing, One of you would slide off the other and drift away.
Is the couple's pod bigger?
I would hope so. They have you packed in there like sardines with Epsom oil.
Maybe.
Everybody comes out all slick and greasy.
Oh God. Well, there's a visual I probably didn't need, but anyway.
Hey,
all right.
You're just in there with your thoughts, man. Shit gets a little strange sometimes. Because you're like, I'm not going to think about work. I'm going to think about drawing something. And then it just kind of, ooh. And then, of course, yeah, like I said, every now and again, you're just like, oh, penis is cold. Splish, splish, splish.
Okay. Tell me about your adventures on the Billy Joel channel. I don't know how to get out of this. I'm trying what I can. I got no segue out of splish, splish, splish.
Oh God, yeah.
So first of all, why the Billy Joel channel out of everything that SiriusXM offers?
I have like that set channels, like that. The car has like three preset groups,
right.
And I didn't feel like switching out of my preset group.
Okay.
And it was just a special thing.
So what'd you learn about Billy Joel that you didn't already know?
I listened because we were going to talk about music, and I thought I should have something to talk about, so I picked Billy Joel. Because, well, wait a minute, like Kristen hates Billy Joel, and I can understand why. Because I got Zanzibar stuck in my head one day. I got the old man's car, I got a jazz guitar, and I got a seat at Zanzibar. bar.
Oh man, the guys that ran some of the bars in Lafayette when I was in college were Billy Joel guys. So there was one bar that was Zanzibar, then it was 52nd Street, and then it was something else.
Holy
And it
shit.
was so when they ran the commercials, they played that song in the background. It was terrible.
I got a jazz guitar. And well, so anyway, so I tuned it in, and part of it is like, my God, he was a rom-com 80s soundtrack, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And so and there's
Every
interviews
time
with
Laura and
him.
I hear we hear My Life on the radio, we both do this. Yeah.
It's my life.
That's bosom buddies, baby.
Oh my God. But
Every single time we just look at each other and do that. Half our entire relationship. It's a thing.
so yeah, there's this thing where he's talking about how he comes up with his songs and what's the inspiration. And like he has a lot of like doo-wop and a lot of like old standards kind of things, which when you listen to it, you hear that.
Oh yeah.
And then so you're kind of going, okay, so why do we give Billy Joel fans such a hard time? And it's like it's and because when he was younger, he had a range. As he got older, that range flattened out. And so all you're doing is listening to a New Yorker kind of, doing,
A
some
Long Island, or is it Staten Island?
Staten Island, I think. I
Staten
don't know.
Island.
But yeah, it's just a New Yorker doing it, just singing and just telling stories. And, it's all flat and
It's
nasally.
it's a Chaz Palminteri one-man show.
Yes, it is. And so like you sit there and you listen to, I don't know, New York State of Mind. And I got, because I'm listening to it, I'm like, lyrically, this isn't bad. What if this was sung by Dean Martin? What was this sung by Frank Sinatra? What was this sung by somebody who had like a richer, deeper voice?
Right.
That song would actually probably be kind of a standard. And so that got me thinking that and his arrangements are so kind of in that same flat range that the guitar player never really, it's like piano, saxophone, maybe piano,
Oh yeah, if you got to have a
saxophone.
bridge, there's going to be a saxophone in a Billy Joel song if there's a bridge, for sure.
Right. Yeah. So I got wondering, I was like, what would his songs, if you had a different vocalist and you played with the arrangements? Because they had an interview with like one of his band, and the band says, what Billy expects is those lines are written. You don't mess with those lines. You do the lines the way they are. And I thought, and that's the problem.
Okay.
They're locked in, but
you
you're
do
also
them
making,
just the way they are.
they are.
Thank you.
And I could see that's actually how he sings it to you when you
Yeah.
when you freelance a little bit. Do I have to remind you? Just the way they are. You're fired.
Hey, that's pretty good Billy Joel impression. You have been listening to a lot of it.
3-4 days, yeah.
Oh, that's too much.
I didn't start that fire, man. Didn't start. Yeah.
I've seen him in concert twice. I'll admit that.
I saw him. His first concert I went to.
I mean, it's an enjoyable experience for what it is. It's never going to be on my best concerts I've been to list, but I'm sure seeing him now is a little different with all the aging boomers in the audience. I think it might be actually worth seeing him again just for that experience. It's the soundtrack of my life.
Well, you need new albums. I remember David Cassidy came here, and I went with a friend of mine, and it was MILF City. That audience was MILF City.
I'm sure.
And here's what you saw: is you saw all of the MILFs up at the front of the stage losing their mind, and then a bunch of guys at the back of the stage, my age, back at the field. They were clearly prowling for Cougar Town type of things, and Violent Femmes were playing on another stage. So I went over there to listen to Violent Femmes. was a strange festival. So anyway, no, I'm sorry, that's David Cassidy, Rick Springfield. So it's Rick Springfield on the
that
one
makes
stage.
more sense then.
Sorry.
That makes a whole lot more sense.
So he's over there doing Jesse's Girl. They're
Right.
doing Why Can't I Get One More Play? And da, you know. And basically met some people, really nice people, fun people. There was a girl, we hit it off, really connected. There was a guy there who had come in from out of town just to hang out with her. And the longer I hung out, the more miserable I made his evening. And every time I tried to leave, she would ask me to stay because she was not particularly thrilled he'd made the trip to come and see her.
Oh.
You know.
Ow.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
you were the cock block.
yes. Splish, 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 splish.
Can't unhear that.
Oh no! Next time you take a bath, you're just gonna be like, splish, splish, splish.
See, I had not to splish, but like we went to see Duran Duran at a club in Houston for Laura's birthday. She was a huge Duranie growing up, and they were playing small club. And we went with her and two of her work friends, and it was the same thing. It was like all 40-year-old women, you know, just out
Moshing.
losing their fucking minds. And at some point it went, oh, soccer mom brought the Chiba. Okay. Soccer mom's going wild out here. Somebody hit a fatty at the Duran Duran show on a Thursday night. All right.
We saw Joe Cocker. So there's a guy. So there's like these two guys sitting in front of us, and they're grizzled concert goers, right?
Right.
You know, they've been going to shows since the 70s, right? And this kid is getting drink. One of them comes in with beers, and he bumps into this kid, spills the beer all over him, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm totally sorry." So about 5 minutes later, to make up for the kid, he's like, and the kid is like holding it in his hands and sitting with his mom and his dad. And he's like looking over at his mom and his dad. And he's like, it's okay, man. It's cool. It's cool. No one's going to bust you. He's like, I'm with my parents. And it's like, eh?
That's a true concert dude right there. I had a
Uh-huh.
very similar experience one time when right after Dad moved to Houston, I would come to concerts from Lafayette, right? And usually brought somebody with me. But one time I wanted Tom Petty was playing with the Georgia Satellites and the Del Fuegos, a really cool triple bill. I couldn't get anybody to come with me. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going by myself. Drove over, went to the show. Bought my ticket day of, back when you had to go to the department store and buy your ticket, get a physical ticket.
I go to,
so I got this
everybody's
one
hanging out at Godshaw's waiting.
Yeah, I had that one singleton down in the lower bowl. And I get there and sitting next to these two guys, kind of like your guys. About 2 songs into the Del Fuegos, he reaches into his cowboy boot and pulls out a Tommy Chong size spliff and just lights that son of a bitch up. And he looks at me and goes, no, I'm good, thanks. But I was like, that is some Texas hospitality for you right there. He offered me his boot joint. I'm willing to bet there was a holster inside that boot to hold that thing.
On the other boot, yeah.
Yeah. One for the spliff and one for the lighter. Custom made.
Oh man, we went to Tom Petty and Black Crowes.
Ooh, I bet there was some ganja flying about on that one.
Well, there was this guy who kept like hitting on Kristen, right? And I kept pushing him aside because this, I just say, hey man, it's my girlfriend. Hey, no, don't worry about it. I'm cool. And I finally got enough, and I reached up around over his shoulder and grabbed, cross to this shoulder, and just whoop. And we were up in the grass seats, so when he went into the crowd, he went into the crowd, and all of a sudden, I got all this space around.
We went to see Melissa Etheridge one time, Laura and I. And she came back from the ladies' room and she's like, I've gotten used to being checked out by guys, but it was really weird to be checked out by all the women in the restroom. It's like, oh, didn't think about that. Oh, look, she's gonna play Maggie May now. Okay.
Couples dance. Everybody grab your gal.
Maggie. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, okay. There's the other things I want to talk about. So I have this theory, and Laura thinks I'm full of crap, by the way. But I have this theory that this ties into music, believe it or not. I have this theory that pop music is really important to everyone for about 20 years of their life.
Okay.
From about 11, 12, unless you have like an older brother or sister or a family friend who turns you on a little sooner, you might. But because I kind of use my numbers like 79 to 99. And after that, I'm like, whatever it is, I'll listen to it if it comes along, but I'm not going to go out of my way looking for it, right? So it's my 30-year pop. I'm still working out the details, but does that track for you? Just out of curiosity. I know you're not as
that's the thing.
big
I'm
a music guy.
Music. Yeah.
What's your first we try to know. What's your first conscious memory of music that wasn't presented to you by your parents? How about that?
It's going to be Styx, actually.
Okay. See?
Grand Illusion, and then of course the disappointment that's Mr. Roboto and Gilroy.
Said about that, the better.
What the
apparently
fuck happened?
Apparently, my brother-in-law is like first cousins with Dennis DeYoung. I don't allegedly.
I'm sorry.
I know. Well, it gets me free tickets or something, or whatever. But anyway, yeah, because
the best of time.
That was your class song, by the way. I bet you don't remember. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't.
That's okay. It was better than mine. So, it's so yeah. So like I can think of like 79 is kind of where I started becoming aware of like stuff outside of what my parents were listening to. Like we had gotten some family friends who had older kids, so it was like Kiss and Petty and like that late stage Zeppelin. I remember some of. I remember a lot of Petty and Kiss.
No, we had a neighbor who had the Killer Queen album and Kiss Alive. I want to talk about Killer Alive. Anyway, big hunting robot and the band's all dead. This one is like stomping on devils. Fire in the background.
Somebody's spitting up blood.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you got to listen to this. And I remember knowing that Queen was more interesting. And then college would be the next time and that's because of Barrett and Chris, who Barrett had a big Talking Heads thing. Queen, Chris had Genesis.
He was more proggy, wasn't he? As I recall,
he was a little more proggy. A big Genesis, big Peter. What's his face?
Gabriel.
Thank you.
I'll say Stuart. Genesis adjacent.
Yeah, Genesis adjacent. But yeah, he was big into Genesis. Big into Rush. Both of them were big into Rush. They took me to go see Stop Making Sense.
Okay.
Which was like, oh my God, sold.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'd like to sing a song for you. Psycho Killer.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Yeah, and they bring out the band and build the set. I mean, it just was such a phenomenal piece, the whole movie. So I'm going to go with those guys. And then, Chris was way more proggy. You got to hear King Crimson. What?
It's the Hall of the Mountain King, man. I started experimenting, sort of just like reading, because I was reading a lot of Rolling Stone, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. And the one that always sticks out in my mind is I can't think of the name of the album. It was Los Lobos. They were the ones that kind of like, oh, that's something I really, really like.
Oh my God, Machine Head is such a great album. I think it's Machine Head, isn't that the one? Moss is on there.
Big something head. Hold on, I'm looking it up because I can't think of the name of the record that I love so much right now. Hold on. And I have yet to see those guys in concert, and it bothers me
I missed them a couple times.
I had tickets to go see them at Antone's, like the great little blues club downtown, and then COVID came, and I didn't get to go see them. And then they play at Green Hall pretty regularly, which is really where I want to see them. That's a really great venue. Shit, what's the name of the album? You're talking about Colossal Head.
Colossal Head. There we go.
And I liked By the Light of the Moon, which came out in '87. One Time, One Night in America is one of my all-time favorite songs. Just I can listen to that song anytime, anywhere. And knowing that they came so weird that they came out of that LA punk scene that with like X and the Germs and the Go-Go's. And they were like the guys from East LA that got to come hang and play with all those guys. And you can sometimes
just another
hear
band
it
from East LA.
Exactly. But you sometimes, and that's when I realized for the first time that a lot of the traditional Mexican music, it has so much in common with like Cajun music. It's the same instruments.
It's the same instruments,
violin,
very much so.
It's the polka style,
big fat guitar,
the waltzy stuff, and it's not that different.
No, it
it's
isn't.
just a different language. It's Spanish instead of French. It's the same basic stuff. And I was like, I really, really like them, and they are like at the top of my short list to see at some point soon. Hopefully, they'll come back around before they get too old to do it again.
Oh, they're gonna go till they die. They're gonna do the Stones sort of a thing.
Well, they haven't lived quite as hard, so they probably got a few more miles on them. Yeah. So that was like my first big like, oh wait, there's more stuff, and then I started like, oh, okay. So I always tell Connor, I did the backwards track like a lot of guys do. Okay, I like Guns N' Roses. Well, they say Aerosmith influenced them. I listen to Aerosmith, and Aerosmith says it was the Stones. The Stones say it was Muddy Waters. So, okay, well, let's check out the blues. And then I got into this whole like blues thing, and like totally down with that. And then I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan in concert, and my mind was blown. That was something else.
So, well, thanks to Lithium, the AKA Tom Morello channel. And then just you scream the F word over and over the guitar.
And talk about shotguns a lot.
Shotguns.
Shotguns and inequality. That's what that band could have been called, Shotguns and Inequality, is what it was called. Rage Against the Machine, by the way.
Oh yeah, it could be. That'd be an album. I could see that. Yeah. Bloodhouse Gang. They play on Lithium from time. It's like, just because it's like the roof part. Come on, party people. Ooh, ooh. But when you're listening to the lyrics, I just so funny. He's not black like Barry White. He's white like Frank Black is. He's the white beat.
You know which band I loved from that era that I felt like should have been so much bigger, and the world would have been. No.
Okay.
The world would have been such a better place if they had been the breakout '90s band instead of Nirvana. Is Cracker.
Okay.
They are whip smart. The lyrics are great. They go all over the damn place. It's not the same every song. They play different styles, different. I mean, the lyrics are so smart. I always loved those guys, and I really wish they had been bigger.
Oh well,
so it shall be. Yeah, we saw them.
Like George.
We saw them on what might have been the most '90s bill of all time. One time, I won tickets from the radio station. It was Cracker, Gin Blossoms.
Oh my!
And Spin Doctors.
Oh. I was going to say Sonic Youth.
No. Gin Blossoms, Cracker, and Spin Doctors.
Wow.
All on one stage in one night.
Wow. Well, we saw Bare Naked.
Go ahead.
We saw Bare Naked Ladies who had OMD open for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
OMD or the Samoan dude?
No, Samoa Joe opened up, came out, stomped around the stage, threw some chairs to the crowd. And then he
sold 1 week.
He speared the poor little guitarist, keyboardist, threw him into the crowd and left.
Muscle buster on that skinny little bass player, and that's all she.
Broke that guy in half, man.
Uh,
Oh shit, yeah. It was a strange bill. It was I forgot who the other. Oh god, it wasn't
those
Thomas Dolby, but it was.
that would be really odd.
Wouldn't it? Mm-hmm.
That was so one time, Chris Smith, who I'm going to get on here because he's self-publishing a book, and I'm going to get him on here soon to talk about that. But
And the oil and gas industry, and punk rock.
I'm glad he's an interesting cat, man. It truly is. You two would get along famously. I'm no question in my mind. Two of my favorite people in the world to hang out with. We and I went to see one time. We would go to shows that the wives didn't want to go to. So actually, a funny story and a concert story. So Laura and Chris's wife Cindy used to work together. And they kept talking about how if we ever met each other, we were just gonna, be fast friends. And so we went to a firm picnic one year. It was June, July. I don't remember when it was, but Chris and I, they were right. We clicked immediately. And he had tickets to go see Super Joint Ritual at this little dive. Trust me, it was some of the guys from Pantera, and Hank Williams III was playing bass for this band. It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen. But we went to this that very night we met. We were at this show where guys were swinging from the ceiling, tearing the HVAC out of the ceiling, and it was go from there. We went to see this metal show one time. It was Testament opened, then it was Motorhead.
Oh my god!
Then it was Judas Priest. And then it was Heaven and Hell, which was the Dio version of Black Sabbath. It was amazing. And the people watching was just phenomenal.
Wow. I got nothing to compete with that.
We saw Chicken Foot together. We saw Velvet Revolver.
Okay.
And to bring this all home, Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth did a tour together, which I think was pretty much, colloquially referred to as the Fuck You Eddie tour. But we went to see that. It's a bunch of us. It's a couple of guys Laura worked with. Matt came into town. Chris met us. There's 6 of us. And it was just David Lee Roth was fronting the best Van Halen cover band I've ever seen. And it was when Sammy was in his full-blown hard rock Jimmy Buffett phase. So it was just and we were like, we're going to buy tickets just because this is never going to make it through the whole tour. If we get lucky, they'll make it to Houston. Mm-hmm. And it didn't make it the whole tour. But they made it to Houston. That was a fun night on the lawn.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
So do you have anything fun on your desk?
No.
No?
I don't.
Well, let me see. I've got a couple of things. Let me see.
Because I think I've done Midnight.
Yeah, you did last time. So I get this text from Connor the other day. You had gone to Half Price Books, and he goes, "Hey, they have this. Do you want it? I've raised the child right."
Oh, there we go.
Machine gun Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
And he also brought me Maurice, who's over here as well, for the monkey wall.
Oh, nice.
He wasn't too high to know I wanted that.
There we go.
And then every year at the holidays or Halloween, I always treat myself to a box of Count Chocula because I love Count Chocula. I'm not ashamed
of it. Away for the cause.
I did. Not only did I send away, I got him.
All right.
I don't know anything about Cause, so do you know about these?
He's just a toy designer. They got the little X's for the eyes. He does a lot of the big, yeah, they're cool. They're like I wasn't what I thought they were going to be, but they're very cool. They're very I haven't opened them yet. Yeah, no, they're very, very 70s plastic army men kind of
looks
thing.
Like very much like something you would have gotten out of one of the boxes in the 70s. Yeah, I even got a Fruit Brute.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, it's Count Chocula, Frankenberry, Boo Berry.
Very
and
cool.
Fruit Brute. So I added some shelving back here. I'm gonna start.
I was gonna say it looks a little bit more built out.
Yeah, I got some little rinky-dink shelves. But yeah, I got a lot of my monkeys are displayed over there now. So
No, I've got nothing. Yeah, it's pretty sad, pathetic. We're getting rid of stuff. Um, I
is
switched around. I started collecting Funkos. They did some of the hockey mascots.
okay. Did you get a gritty? The only one I got.
I did get a gritty, which is the stupidest looking mascot I think I've ever seen. When you see
Yep.
the puppet, and it's kind of like, oh my god, everybody was high at the creature feature shop today.
Yeah.
But
That's
the pop itself is very cool, and I didn't know that the Blackhawks had a mascot, Tommy Hawk. Um,
does he do this?
no, he doesn't, but he's got the hands out to the side like he's going to double chop you.
Oh,
But yeah, he's like a black hawk with a little red and white mohawk. It's actually kind of fun.
that's cool.
It actually is cool, but yeah, he's not on the desk. He's out of range. I'd have to walk.
That's all
over
right.
there.
No worries. So what are you getting rid of? Curious now.
Just I sold American Girl dolls today. Um,
Oh, fun.
How much for
Yeah.
it? No idea.
Okay. That daughter or wife collects those?
Grandma Great. They gave them to us to sell and
Oh, okay.
use the money to. Babe's going to go to Paris at the end of the year, at the
Okay.
end of the school year. So I'm selling American Girl dolls to pay for a trip to Paris.
That's such a dad thing to do.
Uh-huh. Yes. And then just miscellaneous stuff. I went through the boxes and just like, I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff and make room for new stuff. And yeah, no, there's just I got nothing. I did watch Black Panda.
Save that
As
for
opposed
next
to
time. I haven't watched
as
Kung
as
Fu
opposed to
Panther.
Kung Fu Panther. Yeah.
Save that for the next one because I haven't watched it yet. Let's hold off on that. I'll have it watched by the next time.
What are your expectations of the movie?
I expect it to be a meditation on grief and loss with a little side helping of Atlanteans, but not Atlanteans.
But not Atlanteans. It's actually. I believe you will be pleasantly surprised.
I mean,
you'll get through the movie and you're like, wow, that was way better than I thought it was going to be.
I do want to see it, and then we have our Oscar list, where we're marking off movies, and I might try and do an Oscar roundtable episode before that happens. But haven't gotten to that one yet because if we watch Banshees, there's 30 nominees total, right? So if you watch Banshees of Inisherin, Tar, and The Fabelmans, you see 10 of the nominees in those 3 movies.
Oh my!
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't bring myself to. We watched To Leslie the other night, which is really Leslie. Yes, that movie's really good.
Okay.
It's the one that the woman got nominated for Best Actress and caused the controversy because it's this little indie movie that they didn't think anybody had seen. And suddenly she was nominated for Best Actress. And it's really, really well done. It's on Prime if you're interested. It's in and aside from whatever the hell accent Mark Maron is trying to pull off, it's really, really good. So, no, he's fine. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually one of the EPs on the thing, so I guess he can do whatever accent he wants. He's throwing some of that WTF money around now.
There we go.
Yeah, so I haven't seen that yet. I am looking forward to Quantum Mania. I do want to go see that one in the theater.
I think that one needs to be seen in the theater.
Yeah, I looked at Laura the other day. I'm like, how are you coming? Where do you stand on Quantum Mania? Because I know you love you some Paul Rudd, but there's going to be all kind of time travel and
Weird
alternate
stuff.
realities, and it's going to be fucking weird. She's like, I didn't see the last one. I'm like, that's going to have no bearing on this movie whatsoever.
I don't think so either. I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I mean, I am to the point with the Marvel movies where my expectations are no longer sky high. They're sort of I've leveled them out. So,
I think we're over the initial. Oh my God, we're getting a blank movie.
Right.
Then
Oh
now
my
it's
God, they're
almost-
all going to be in the same movie. Oh,
Yeah.
Now-
So now it's just like, we're going to get another blank movie.
So when they
Yeah.
when they do something that looks like they're taking a chance or doing something out of the formula,
Mhm.
I'm more excited.
And I think Marvel too. I will say this, like I think the reason the Black Panther movies work is that Marvel Comics has created these places you want to go to because you're like, oh yeah, I'd like to see what the Savage Land is like. I want to see
That
what
would,
Wakanda's like. I want to see Latveria. Maybe
yeah,
not.
for
I don't
sure.
know.
No, I think
Um,
that. I think something with the Savage Land would be amazing.
it would be, like Jurassic Park without the scientists telling you everything will be okay.
Yeah.
No, no, we've got it all under control. No, no, it's like, no, these dinosaurs never died out. We got
we
mammals and lizards living together,
cats and dogs. It'll be chaos.
living together in sin. Yeah. Um, so I think that because of that, you extend your the belief in Wakanda, and those guys did such a great job in the first movie of creating Wakanda.
Yeah.
Um, you know that you get into the new movie, you already know. Oh, they're in Wakanda. Yeah, that's like, yeah, it's not as it's like, why do I know that skyline as well as I know New York?
Right. That's a valid point. That's actually, I really like that what you're saying about all the little like destination places that they really have only scratched the surface on because they did so much of it around New
Mhm.
York while they were building it out. There's
Oh yeah.
so many corners of the Marvel
Eventually, we'll
uni-
get Genosha and all that other nonsense.
asteroid M and the blue area. Someday we'll get the blue
Get the
area of the
blue area of the
moon.
moon. Mhm. That's right. Captain America, Nick Fury, hanging out with the Inhumans,
Yeah.
getting all kinds of entwined in Medusa's hair.
Hey,
Hey.
it does things. It does stuff.
So yeah, no. So Black Panther actually it turns out to be I felt better than the first one,
Okay. I
and
always thought the first one was good. It just never like blew my socks off like some of them.
well,
Um,
no, because like the
I didn't hate it. I liked it just fine. It just,
yeah,
I don't think I was the person it was intended to blow the socks off of.
well, no. And
So
I think too that we knew who T'Challa was, so this was not a
true.
revelation. You know,
That's also true. I mean,
it's like, oh yeah, yeah, he's that dude from Africa, the guy who has his own country
and the crazy metal.
and the crazy metal, and he nailed Storm, so good for him.
God bless, sir.
You did what all of us wanted to do, and for that we salute you. That's right.
Oh, for those of you not watching the stream and listening, I did the Wakanda Forever symbol.
Yes.
So, all right. The other thing I'm interested in, I told Laura the other day, Jonathan Majors he's a good actor, but I think that boy is about to have a
He's gonna
breakout.
blow up because
Yeah,
I think
between
he's gonna play King differently in like every movie.
well, and he's also essentially playing the Mr. T character in the third Creed movie in March.
Oh
He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
he's got Quantum Mania and Creed 3 coming out.
No,
And
he's gonna blow up.
he's going to be so big. I mean, he was really good in Lovecraft Country, which was I thought was only okay, but
Mhm.
I've never seen him be bad in anything,
Okay.
and he's just been needing that. I mean, he was great in Loki in the one episode he was in.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways you can go with Kang too, because there's all the iterations of Kang.
And that's what I think you're gonna see is we're just gonna see him every time out. It'll be slightly different version, and we'll just be that's one guy. Holy shit.
He's gonna come out as Immortus,
Uh-huh.
Ramatut, the Scarlet Centurion. I mean this is where the rubber's gonna hit the road for the casual fan. I do believe.
That you're gonna have to go. No, you do have to go watch Quantum Mania. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, no, that one's gonna be that's the new Iron Man. That's the baseline right there. I do believe that will be the case as we move forward.
Yeah, cool.
Now, so anyway, that's my thoughts on that. So
No, I think he is gonna just. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I love the Rocky and Creed movies. I'm a sucker for those things. I will go watch that opening night and just watch people beat each other up. I don't know why. I don't know why I love those movies so much, but I do.
Oh, they touch the heartstrings or something.
Maybe because they've been around since we were like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when Creed was coming out, the boys were just old enough to start processing, hey, that looks like something I might want to see. I'm like, well, I'll take you to see that. But before you see that, you have
Let me
to
show
watch
you
the
these
Rock.
other 5 movies.
Yeah, I didn't make him watch the one with Tommy Morrison, but we watched all the rest of them. I would not take them to see it until they had seen at least the first 4. And yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gotta know about Paulie's Robot.
What's that?
You got to know about Paulie's Robot. All right, I'm too deep. I'm too deep in the well
Oh,
now.
no. It just, yeah. People are going to be like, huh?
Beep, 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 beep.
What is it? Oh, we did we've been doing this leadership training course for work.
Mhm.
And it's going to be a year-long thing. And there's like online seminars, right? And the guy who's leading him, he's like, just want to show you real quick. There's always just like one last thing. And I'm always showing my age. And he goes, go ahead, put that picture up on the screen. He goes, and in the chat, just tell us who you think that is, right? It's a picture of Peter Falk from Columbo, right? So I go into the chat and I say, it's the grandpa from Princess Bride. And so they're like, oh, looking at the chat. What do we got? Some people here. Oh, Columbo. Yeah, people are getting that. And then they go, what's this? This Steph guy's, well, the grandfather from Princess Bride. I don't know what that is. And then you hear somebody else. I think it's the same actor. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. And I write back, I guess I should have said Beretta.
Kojak.
Oh, I was ready. I was like,
McLeod.
or McLeod, or Cannon, or
Mannix.
Quincy, or Mannix. Serpentine, Sheldon. Serpentine.
Oh, that's
Go with the
funny.
in-laws. Yes.
Nice. All the marbles. He was the manager in all the marbles.
Oh shit! The lone detective, the Sam Spade,
The sad detective.
The sad detective. Yes, I would have. I was
he in Murder by Death. He was the Sam Spade character in Murder by Death.
That's the one. Yes,
we're doing it again. You realize that, right?
I know, and I'm sitting there going, I have my fingers over the keyboards. I'm just like, yeah, this really isn't the crowd to play this game with right now, because they're going to just see this list of McLeod, Mannix, Cannon,
McMillan without his wife.
No, then the next one was just be wife. McMillan, wife.
It's really funny that you brought that up because, and now we're going to get to a stopping point here, but now I'm on.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned we watched the first couple episodes of Poker Face on Peacock.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really good. And it's got a very 70s TV detective vibe to it. Like the opening credits look like something from the old Sunday Night Mystery Show where they had like the revolving group of and
a Quid Martin production.
Yeah, this is Ryan Johnson, so it's got that weird glass onion vibe to it. But Natasha Lyonne is really, really good in it, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend that show. I think you would dig it. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, but I'm ready to dive back in. There's
punk rock, Raggedy Ann.
But there's been a couple of times where they walked right up to the just one more question without saying it. Like they'll get right up to it, just the one more thing. Like she's doing Columbo.
There we go. Yes. Well, that's how it is with leadership. There's always just one more thing, and these guys.
That's a long way for an analogy.
Oh, it's a. Well, you did an MBA program, right?
Yes.
So that there's some of these modalities
in the last century.
Yeah. But you know, they get into these things, and everything has like 5 steps or 10 habits or
Oh yeah.
3 goals, and you know, the 6 things, and it's just like, oh my God, it's be so much easier to be an alcoholic because there's only 12 steps, and it would be so much easier to keep track of. I could be a leader with like the 30 steps, or a drunk with 12, and you know, I might
Okay.
go with drunk sometimes.
And you know what the first step is, right?
Admitting you have a problem.
No, it's ask her how to treat her like a lady.
That's it for both programs, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm going to put the flag in it right there.
Okay.
We're gonna go out on the Eddie Rabbit joke and finish up our music episode that way. All right, that's episode 55. But yes, it turns out can drive 55. Thank you very much. That was terrible, and I'm ashamed of myself. That's it. Episode 55. Slip Toast. I'm still Bruce,
I'm still Steve.
and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.